Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Mini Lecture. In daily life, in addition to mortgage interest rates, fluctuations in prices are also issues of great concern to the public. Meanwhile, employment issues that graduates care about, as well as the overall conditions of the labor market, are closely related to macroeconomic policies. Behind these economic phenomena lies the guidance of the ultimate objectives of monetary policy. So what exactly are the ultimate objectives of monetary policy? What specific aspects do they include? With these questions in mind, let us move on to today's main topic, the ultimate objectives of monetary policy. First, let us clarify the concept of the ultimate objectives of monetary policy. They refer to the macroeconomic objectives that a central bank seeks to achieve over a relatively long period of time through the formulation and implementation of monetary policy. They serve as both the starting point and the ultimate destination of monetary policy decision-making, and they run through the entire process of monetary policy implementation. Simply put, the central bank functions like an adjuster of the national economy, and the ultimate objectives of monetary policy are the directions that this adjuster aims at. All policy instruments are applied in order to move toward these directions. Next, we will study the main ultimate objectives of monetary policy, which constitute the key content of today's lecture. These objectives mainly include four aspects: price stability, full employment, economic growth, and balance of international payments. 1. Price stability. Price stability is one of the most core and fundamental objectives of monetary policy. It refers to maintaining the general price level in a basically stable state and avoiding large-scale inflation or deflation. Inflation increases uncertainty in the economic system and thereby harms economic growth. Generally speaking, moderate inflation can exert a certain stimulative effect on the economy. However, if the inflation rate is excessively high, it will lead to currency depreciation and a decline in residents' real incomes, disrupting economic order. Hyperinflation represents the most extreme form of price instability and is highly destructive to economic operations. Countries such as Argentina, Russia, and Zimbabwe have all experienced episodes of hyperinflation. Deflation, on the other hand, leads to declining corporate profits and reduced investment incentives, which is likewise detrimental to economic development. 2. Full employment. Full employment does not mean that everyone with the ability to work can find a job. Rather, it means that the unemployment rate is maintained at a reasonable level. Achieving full employment not only raises residents' incomes, but also allows for the full utilization of labor resources and promotes stable economic development. By adjusting monetary policy, the central bank influences corporate investment and production decisions, thereby affecting the labor market. It should be noted that full employment does not equate to a zero unemployment rate, because a certain degree of frictional unemployment and structural unemployment is a normal economic phenomenon. Frictional unemployment refers to unemployment that arises during the process in which job seekers and employers search for suitable matches. For example, when a job seeker intends to switch to a better job, they may remain unemployed for a period of time before securing a new position. Structural unemployment refers to unemployment caused by a mismatch between job seekers' skills and the requirements of available positions. Monetary policy is ineffective in addressing this type of unemployment. Therefore, the goal of full employment is not to pursue a zero unemployment rate, but rather to maintain an unemployment rate above zero that is consistent with full employment. This level is known as the natural rate of unemployment. 3. Economic growth. Economic growth is usually measured by the growth rate of gross domestic product, GDP, which reflects the expansion of economic scale and the enhancement of productive capacity of a country or region over a given period. Through regulating indicators such as the money supply and interest rates, monetary policy affects investment and consumption demand in society, thereby promoting sustained and stable economic growth. However, it should be noted that economic growth should not blindly pursue speed alone. Equal emphasis must be placed on the quality and sustainability of growth. 4. Balance of international payments. The balance of international payments refers to a situation in which a country's receipts and payments arising from external economic transactions are basically balanced over a certain period. When receipts exceed payments, a surplus arises. When receipts fall short of payments, a deficit occurs. Large and persistent surpluses or deficits in external economic transactions can both have adverse effects on the domestic economy. For example, a long-term trade surplus may increase upward pressure on the domestic currency, thereby undermining the competitiveness of export-oriented enterprises. Conversely, a long-term trade deficit may lead to a reduction in foreign exchange reserves and trigger exchange rate fluctuations. Through monetary policy adjustments, the central bank can improve the balance of international payments and maintain its basic equilibrium. There is both unity and conflict among these four objectives. In many cases, achieving one objective may facilitate the realization of another. For instance, during the process of economic growth, enterprises often expand production scales, which creates more employment opportunities and thus promotes the achievement of full employment. In turn, full employment implies higher household incomes and stronger consumption capacity, which further stimulates economic growth. At the same time, stable economic growth also helps maintain price stability and balance of international payments. However, there are also certain trade-offs among these objectives. In some situations, achieving one objective may come at the expense of another. For example, in the short run, conflicts may arise between price stability and economic growth, as an excessive pursuit of economic growth may trigger inflation. Therefore, when formulating monetary policy, the central bank must take into account the economic conditions of different periods and make coordinated and well-balanced choices among these objectives. Next, let us review today's content together. The ultimate objectives of monetary policy are the macroeconomic goals that the central bank seeks to achieve in the long run through monetary policy. The main ultimate objectives include price stability, full employment, economic growth, and balance of international payments. Among these four objectives, there is both unity and conflict. The ultimate objectives of monetary policy serve as an important guide for macroeconomic regulation. Mastering this knowledge helps us better understand national economic policies and also lays a solid foundation for our subsequent study of financial expertise. We hope that after class, everyone will combine real economic phenomena with further reflection on the application of the ultimate objectives of monetary policy. Thank you all, and see you next time.